back in 2015, I pulled a world record. So I pulled a world record deadlift in 2015. It was 463 kilos. So I owned the world record. And then I went to the promoters after the show and I said, oh, I want to pull 500 kilo.
Is this the one you did in front of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No,
this
is a few months later.
A few months later. Okay,
yeah.
Right. But that had happened a couple kilos less within.
Yeah, 1 kilo less.
1 kilo less. In front of Arnold.
462 in front of Arnie.
Okay, and there's some great footage in your documentary movie where Arnold's right there.
Oh yeah.
And him yelling helped. You think
it did? It did.
Okay.
Well, the Arnold story was pretty good. You know, I competed in the Arnold Classic Ohio in 2015. This is my very first big international show since I became a pro strongman, and I flew out to Ohio. I did a whole week of competing. You know, really brutally heavy contest, the heaviest contest on the planet, and I came sixth out of at the top 10 in the world. And I was very down, very distraught, and very upset with myself. I just not long quit my job and sold my security business to sort of follow this journey of becoming the strongest man in the world. And I'd let myself down. And I'm packing my suitcases, getting ready to go home from Ohio. And then one of the promoters rings me up and sort of says, how would you feel about coming to Arnold's Classic Melbourne in Australia, and redeeming yourself? So I'm, okay, well, when is it? Well, it's this weekend. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, okay. So I pack my bags and get my plane ticket off to Australia. I go. It was, all in all, it was about a 40-hour journey to get from Ohio to Melbourne. And I get there, and I'm having my evening meal the day before the contest, and then the promoter rings me up again. We've got Arnold Schwarzenegger coming to the Strongman Arena at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. We want to do something special. So I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? Well, kind of thinking, you could pull a world record deadlift. And I'm like, oh, well, Jesus Christ. But then I remembered 6 months earlier, I'd pulled a world record deadlift and dropped it and got disallowed the lift. So I thought, well, hell, I'm going to do it. So I signed up for it. 11 a.m. the next morning, go through all the warm-up lifts, and there's 462 kilos on the bar. Everyone's waiting around. Arnold's a no-show. So, I say to the promoters and the referees, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to do it now. Arnold or no Arnold, it's gonna happen within this next 5 minutes, or else I'm not gonna pull it. So I get strapped onto the bar, start rocking this bar back and forth, and lean back, lean forward, start pulling this bar up, and then I just see this purple pair of loafers just appear on my right hand side, and the whole crowd atmosphere just changes. That it erupts. Anyway, I lock this deadlift out, and the referee gives me the down signal. I'll throw it down, and I just throw my straps off, celebrate with the crowd. Arnold was right there. He went to give me a high five, and I completely ignored him because I was too big time. Only kidding. So I'm just celebrating with the crowd, going off my nuts, and then I just sort of zone in. Arnold's right there. And we sort of walk over, and 3 of my life goals at this point in time were, number 1, to win the world's strongest man, number 2, hold the world record deadlift, and number 3, meet, shake hands, and make friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. And once I'd done the lift and realised Arnold was there, I went back over, we did the old Predator handshake, and it's like, Eddie, you monster, it was amazing, oh my God, you're so great. He was, it was just a proper, unreal sort of life moment to do a world record deadlift and have Arnold there to sort of spur me on and be there for that moment.
Why Arnold Schwarzenegger? Why was he so important to you?
He's always been my childhood hero. I think my earliest memory I can ever remember is being 5 years old, watching the Terminator 2. And the memory is that I was sitting in my living room watching TV, and Arnie Schwarzenegger walks into a bar butt naked, kicks the shit out of about 20 outlaws, and then walks out with a new set of levers and rides off on a motorbike. And to me, that imprinted on me for the rest of my life. I wanted to be that action hero. I wanted to be the guy with the muscles and who was the movie star. And from that day forth, I just saw Arnold as an absolute hero inspiration. And, I really followed his life story, his career, and his sort of struggle that he went through to come up through Austria and, going through the army and then going to America and breaking into Hollywood, and all the struggles and all all the business and everything that he did to get there. It's an amazing story. And it inspired me throughout my whole sort of childhood. From 5 years on, it inspired me.
And the way that you probably mess with people's heads, and that
Yes.
you go Hollywood a little bit too.
Yeah, you have to, and I think that there's a lot of, back in the day, there's no denying it. You look at Arnold on his early documentaries, on his early sort of tapes, he was very, very arrogant. And you always relate successful people, very successful people, especially the Hollywood sort of guys, they tend to be quite narcissistic. They think a lot of themselves. But I think that's a very good trait to have, as long as you know it, you understand it, and you can control it. And I think Arnold was that guy. He was the guy that thought, I'm better than everybody else. And he would say it, and he would be so confident, and it would get in the heads of the other athletes, and they would deflate on stage. And I took a lot of that from Arnie and put it into the strongman. And there's one thing I learned from Arnold is there's a big difference between arrogance and confidence. So arrogance is thinking you're the better than everybody else. But then confidence is knowing that you're better than everybody else. But in order to be that confident guy, you've got to be arrogant. You've got to believe it before you become it. And that's what Arnold did. He believed it before it happened. And he was the master of that. He was the master of foreseeing his future. So that's one of the main things I learned from Arnie is almost to trick yourself. You've got to believe yourself that you're going to be that big movie Holly star. You've got to believe that you're going to be the world's strongest man before you get there.
Can anyone do that, you think?
Well, I did it.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it consciously, and then it became unconscious.
It became a reality.
It became real.
I believed it. 19 years of age, I said I was going to win the world's strongest man. And at the time, I'm a 19 stone kid, just started in strongman, and I'm out there. And you can look back on my social media, I got absolutely slated for it. I was that arrogant kid that everyone hated, coming up through the ranks, but I delivered. I believed it that much. I made it happen. And that's what I learned from Arnold is to be that guy, to be that dreamer, to kid yourself until that dream becomes a reality.